Hello, my name's Adam Carmel, and this is a documentary on the Black Panther Party. Do you think Martin Luther King was the only one who ended the black struggle going on in 1966? Well, he was not the only one who helped out. There was a party called the BPP, Black Panther Party. Before the Black Panther Party was formed, a man named Hugh Newton and his former mate, Bobby Seale, had to have a draft of their plans and goals. After they made their draft, they opened up the first BPP. Like any other party, the Black Panther Party started off small but increased rapidly. The Black Panther Party was a succeeding partisan party fighting against the black struggle for black people's justice and freedom. To expand the name of the Black Panther Party, they made posters, signs, and passed out flyers. They started organizations. They opened up schools, sanctuaries, free breakfast for black people, and proper clothing. It was very hard for people to pay attention to the Black Panther Party because of the Vietnam War going on simultaneously. Many people back then were still racist and hated black people, so they would try to kill them in the Black Panther Party. Many people who were in the Black Panther Party were accused of crimes that they didn't do, or were either killed or sent straight to jail without a court trial. The Black Panther Party ignored their difficulties and hoped for the best. Before starting the Black Panther Party, they wrote their first draft and things they want to accomplish. One of their future accomplishments was accomplished. They made the Black Panther Party self-defense. According to Marxist.com, the main rules that the Black Panther Party followed were: you had to be with the party 24/7, cannot be drunk, cannot have possession of a gun or any other weapon, cannot have a record of crimes, and had to submit working every day. Also on the website were points of attention: talking with manners, pay when buying items with equal amount of money, return borrowed items. If you were to break anything, you would buy it. Do not hit or swear at people, including if being held hostage by police. Also on the website were 3 rules of discipline. On April 5th, 1967, was the Black Panther Party's first street protest in California. All of the members had no weapons, but most of the citizens did. Some members also got beaten up. The party started expanding and got to the SNCC and then up to the Prime Minister. The Black Panther Party was looking for a way to buy shotguns in a non-violent way. They eventually bought them. Later on, the Black Panther Party was heard in local newspapers. 2 days later, Martin Luther King was assassinated. Later on, the Black Panther Party opens up the first free breakfast for blacks. Then opened up was the New Blood Drive. In conclusion, the Black Panther Party was a succeeding partisan party fighting against the black struggle for black people's justice and freedom. They started off small but increased rapidly. The BPP helped out with Martin Luther King during the colored people's struggle. They made accomplishments that include free breakfast organizations for colored people, free schools for colored people, free sanctuaries for colored people, and they also provided free clothing for colored people. The Black Panther Party also had a protest in the streets. The Black Panther Party also opened up blood drives for colored people. To sum it all up, the Black Panther Party was a succeeding party that made huge differences in a life for colored people. Now here are 2 videos. One of a group of black people who are trying to reform the Black Panther Party, and one of an interview of the founder of the Black Panther Party.
In 1966, the Black Panther movement was founded. Prominent among the founders were Bobby Seale, who is its president, and Huey Newton, after Eldridge Cleaver, probably its best-known champion. In recent months, of course, the Newton wing expelled Eldridge Cleaver, who is living in Algeria, so that the SEAL Newton wing is nowadays supreme. Meanwhile, the Black Panthers have turned their backs officially on violence as a means of accomplishing whatever it is they propose to accomplish, concerning which we will in due course be enlightened. Huey Newton, you will remember, was tried and convicted of killing a policeman, specifically of involuntary manslaughter. The slogan, Free Huey Newton, was to the late 60s what the slogan, Who Promoted Perez, was to the early 50s. The higher court reversed the verdict on a technicality, and Mr. Newton was tried twice more, the trial resulting in each case in a split jury. Finally, the presiding judge gave up, and Huey Newton is free. His mother is from Louisiana, his father from Arkansas, and he is the youngest of 7 children. He was schooled in Oakland, where he now lives. His first book was called To Die for the People, and imminently he will publish his autobiography, which is called Revolutionary Suicide, a concept I shall now ask Mr. Newton please to explain.
I'll explain it, but if I may impose upon you, I have a friend who's almost dying for me to ask this question, if you will. The question is, during the Revolution of 1776, when the United States of America broke away from England, my friend would like to know, what side would you have been on during that time?
I think probably I would have been on the side of George Washington. I'm not absolutely sure, because it remains to be established historically whether what we sought to prove at that point might not have been proved by more peaceful means. On the whole, I'm against revolutions. Though I think as revolutions go, that was a pretty humane one.
Yeah, you're not such a bad guy after all. My friend will be surprised to hear that. I hope he's listening.
His assumption was what?
Well, he was puzzled, but I think that he was inclined to believe that you've been on the side of the colonizers of England. But I'm pleased with the answer, and I agree with you. The only revolution that is worth fighting is a humane revolution, and
also one that succeeds.
Pardon me?
Also one that succeeds.
Yes, right.
Because,
eventually.
I feel that if King George had captured George Washington, he would have had the right to hang him.
According to the law.
Yeah.
But revolutions always, in some ways, contradict some laws. That's why it's called revolution.
Well, revolutionary justice is its own justice, isn't it?
Yes, and of course it always professes to go under some human right or humane consideration. And I think that we can judge revolutions on the basis of how much, in fact, or objectively, people are given a fair, dealt with in a fairer way, and are given more freedom. I think that one of my principles is that contradiction is the ruling principle of the universe, and everything in phenomena, whether it's the physical world or the biological world or the social world, has its internal contradiction that gives motion to things, that internal strain. And much of the time that we Homo sapiens don't realize that no matter what sort of conditions we establish, no matter what government we establish at this point, there also will be that internal contradiction that will have to be resolved, and resolved in a rational, just way. And of course that leads us somewhat, it's very vague on how to deal with it. And many times we claim actions are revolutionary, but really they're not. So I appreciate your answer, and I would agree with that part of it.
That's it? Yeah.
Stop.